Okay, doubled on the railroad back. Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, 5 o'clock here, 10 after 5. And we just made a back through. Haven't tried a forward yet. Got a new switch in, which is an Atlas that I had left over, exact one, so I put that in instead of wasting one of my good Picos destined for the yard. And I did electrical modifications on the bottom of it. Outside rail to inside, outside rail to inside on the closer rails. And that's all it did to it. And I got a insulated joiner in where I should have had before. Between two mains, I was getting crossover bleed through between the blocks. And I pulled that out and there was no joiner. I never even saw that before. So I don't know if it was breaking or not breaking, the circuit. Seemed like it was always hot between them. Like you turn on 3 and 4 was on and vice versa. So here we go. Get the, bringing through it. Oh, we're bringing through it. 10 miles an hour, let's go for it. I've got another joint on the left. That was an original I cut way back, about 20 inch. So I tied into a joiner over the curve and got it straight there before it started to curve again. Swung the curve out as far as I could to get it lined up straight right here. So we're watching the bogies, the trucks. Oh, there's something jumped. Oh, the engine just derailed. Pick the points. That's the only thing I'm worried about. This switch, I filed and filed, but it's sticking out. Again, the spring isn't that strong. We're going to stop here and fix that. Okay, we're back. We did some more filing on the switch. The like I've seen before, the housing of that switch throw is hitting the bottom of some engine, the engines. In some of these well cars, it really comes close. I had to file that down, the plastic down. The white is where the joint is, the new joint. Flex track starts there. And we got another one that the end car is hitting right now in the curve. That's at 12 miles an hour about. Speed's up 10. Well, it should be 10, but I think it's over. It's going faster. I heard one click right here on the switch right there with the purple one. I can see that the points are not tight. I may have to go to a manual throw. Rig up a new one. This time I'll trim the piece of plastic that was sticking up. It was holding the throw up in the air too much because it's not made for that. I'll just cut that off, that little nub. Trying to get the rail guards spacing wide enough, have to file those out. I just forgot to round off the corners of them because sometimes I'll catch air. So here we come over here. That's where, and my mount come loose again. Here's where the doggone, that thing has come totally loose. I'm gonna have to get help to tighten that down. Okay, there's where the other joint is, new to the old. So, okay, let me file the guards real quick. Okay, here we go. We'll watch this. Keep going the right way. We'll watch this joiner first. I'll back up and show the other one. I'll slow down so we can study it a little better. See the movements of the trucks and the couplers. And I did find a switch that's partially thrown from when I brushed it off, cleaned it out, so that might have caused the pick. But I don't like how loose those point rails are with the switch on the center line, pass through. It's coming away from the rail, no tension on it. They're really making them Atlas switches cheap in the last couple of years. Terrible. I heard a tick in the switch, don't know where it's coming from. I'm keeping an eye on the switch so we don't jump off. I think we're good on this joint. It comes up and goes straight for a little bit, couple inches, then starts curving again. We left some gap in at the switch, right where the flex gets on the switch, so it can expand or contract. See a dirty spot over here, still picking up same spot. Probably all this plastic debris getting tracked around. My ultimate test will be go back to one weight on that first car. I hear him clicking right in that switch. The last stack train car, Pacer, is clicking on a joint there. I think it's the outbound switch joint. I have to file him. We're getting closer. Not bad for first runs. I will follow it if I can. I'll try to move the camera. I like to watch the tops. If they wiggle, kind of indicates too. So there's a joint right there where the styrene's pointing to it. Okay, that's good. I'm going to stop and check that. Yeah, I see that is a joint on the outbound side of the switch. I'm going to stop and check that. Feel it, file it. Be right back. Yep, that was a rough joint. Really snagged my finger there. Okay, taking up speed step 11. Which that's hard to see what it's doing. Slow down so we can see the trucks going over the joint. I think we can run through about 12 to 15 now. I just want to study this. Like my good friend in New South Wales commented, watch it on the big screen. Well, I uploaded the other night, went to bed, didn't have time. So I watched it next morning, so now I'll go take this, zoomed in. Like he said, watch the bogies going over the joints. And I do have a grade there to the left about 6 inches. We go down over the hill to the next level, to the other layout segment. That's a problem. There's a table joint right there, two different tables built together. Thinking about lagging some deck screws through it now while it's in this state of levelness, so it's not going to be shifting on me later. Because I lost humidity, it got cold, lost humidity about 30%, then started having all these problems. That happened last year. So I saw it happening on Union Pacific Railroad, Evanston sub. He had a whole, like a 36-inch section of flex buckled from all that shrinkage. So I started thinking about, hey, I think that's what's going on here at this joint. That switch I told you about before over on the other side of the layout, another joint to the middle segment, did the same thing. It started popping, buckling it up, and I could push down it and pop. Well, that doesn't do that now. It's shrunk. So I'm going to try to lag that together because it's in a good position. Put about 4, 5, 6 deck screws underneath on the frames, join them together and lock them in. See how that does. Let the wood quit moving so much right there, putting all the stress on that track. When I went to take out the old flex, it just sprung loose and ripped from all the tie plates. Just like a spring. It was really under pressure. hearing something there, but I can't. That wasn't the joint. Something, maybe something in the track. It's past the track. The switch, I mean. Just heard the first loco hit something. See a spot on the rail, looks like it might be damaged. Okay, we're gonna have 15 minutes of test running here, it looks like. Okay, I see another compressed joint that's starting to shift out. And it's old track, I'll hurt it if I mess with it too much. I filed it, misaligned it, the joint is really compressed. Couldn't even tell it was a joint. Okay, here we go. We're going to take it up to 12 miles an hour, which would be about 15 probably. 12 speed step, it'd be about 15 or 16. Yeah, just normal joint noise. Well, I can't wait to see this on a big TV, especially watching the top line, top edge of the screen. Look pretty smooth. I don't see anything leaning or wiggling. I'm going to take that two weights off that one and back up and test it going through with one at this speed. See if it works now. Maybe we can get away with one weight there, help the engine. I got something really interesting to show right here as soon as I stop this. Clear the switch. That's a vulnerable car. He didn't have as much weight. Missing one container. Okay, I'll give you an aerial of the alignment. Here's where we had to go back to peel all that ballast and tie in right there, which worked out good. Those are tight. But then we left it open on the other side. So let's come back. See if we can see the curve. I swung out right here to get it to come around and line up with the switch. But you don't have enough room right there. I wish the crossover was down a little bit, but I couldn't do it because of what's on the inner main too. So there I got it. Kind of a little bit kink right there as the last turn, but you can see it's not hurting. Comes in, lines up straight. Then we come right through, and there's the insulator on that side now. Separate, because I've got one over here, I think. Right there. I think there's one in there. So I hope I got it on the right side of the block now. Hard to tell. Hopefully. I would have thought it would have been on the inside one. I hope not. I don't want to change it. It's working, but I'll have to test with the light meter. See where, if the switches are cutting the blocks like they were before, way back a couple years ago. Okay, let me swing you over here, see what's going on. I'll show you. It's funny. Actually funny. There's my voltage thing I had propped up to watch. Now I got a big, bright, solid green again. I was tapping with a small hammer, driving spikes, pressing spikes on the other side over there. And now, lo and behold, I got all my voltage back. So something was not conducting, and all that beating around, everything made it come back up full power now. That's exactly the way it was. Right one is a green one. And that's what we want to see. And I turned on the other sections and still stays bright. So just some connection underneath probably somewhere. Wasn't contacting very well, or the rails weren't conducting where they were supposed to carry current. Okay, we'll let you go. It's probably a long video. Interesting things to watch. I'll go study this myself after I get it all done. Take care. God bless. Have a great weekend coming up. We're on hump day. Double Down Railroad. Out.